Are the promises you speak over your business matched by the actions that follow? I'm Valerie, and today on Business by Design podcast, I'm talking about a gap that quietly drains your confidence, right? It's the space between what you say and what you actually do. So today, let's close the gap so that every promise you make with your lips show up in the ledger of your business. Are you ready? Let's walk the talk. See you on the podcast.
Hello, I'm Valerie Priester, and this is the Business by Design podcast. Are you a woman entrepreneur who absolutely loves what you do and enjoy helping others, but for some reason, you can't seem to get out of your own way? You can't seem to get out of your head and really create the level of success that you desire? I get it. I truly understand. I've been there too. You see, I spent years searching for what do they call it? The holy grail, the secret sauce, right? To success. And what I learned along the way is all of the women that I knew that were very successful had one thing in common, and that was their way of thinking. Now, I know you may be saying it can't be that simple, can't be that easy, right? But the truth is, the number one key or secret, however you want to label it, to success is your way of thinking. It's your mindset. It's what you believe and what you think is possible for you. And so that's exactly why I created this podcast. I want to help you get out of your head, get out of your own way. I want to help you get into more profits, more passion, and more power. I want to help you to shift away from old beliefs and release old ways of thinking, self sabotaging conversations, and help you shift into new beliefs that support your goals and bring lasting success. I want to help you design your victory so you can create the business and life that you desire. So if you're ready for some real talk about how to do that, if you're ready to really make the shift and move into greater possibilities and greater success, you're in the right place.
So, you know the routine. Let's say on Monday, you have this bright idea to post boldly on LinkedIn, right? You're full of excitement, you're full of energy around what will happen if you finally post and do the thing that you have been putting off doing and really being seen, maybe not visibly, but being seen in the way of posting things that you care about or things that are near and dear to your heart or how you want to show up to your audience. And you do that on Monday. And then by Tuesday, there's this silent fear, and it prevents you from moving forward and creating more posts or more content to show up. And then by Friday, you're really wondering why your momentum feels like it's stalled. Like, I'm not really doing anything. Well, a lot of that is because of the resistance that you're putting out there, right? It's really because you have this big talk, if you will, but you're not walking the talk. You're just saying that you're going to do a lot of things and you're making a lot of promises and a lot of commitments to do those things, but you're not keeping those promises, right? So today I want to talk about three simple things that you can do to help you stay true to your word, stay true to the things that you say you are committed to doing and that you are intentional about doing and accomplishing them, right? So that you can stop letting the resistance, the fear, the self doubt, the lack of confidence, all of those things that typically get in the way, you can stop letting those things keep you from keeping your word. I always say that, our word is the most powerful thing that we have. It's the most valuable asset that we have. And if we can't keep our word to ourselves, then how does it play out for us to show up and keep our words to others, right? To our clients, to our family, to our colleagues, right? How are we keeping our words to others if we can't keep our word to ourselves? So here's some things that I want you to think about and then to try when it comes to being able to start walking your talk. Okay? First of all, we all have, these promises that we make, and we all have these big elaborate goals that we want to accomplish. Well, instead of looking at the big goal, the big picture, and trying to accomplish it all in one session, if you will, or in just one action, why not shrink the promise a little bit, right? I'm all about making things simple. I'm all about taking the big declarations like I want to, double my income this quarter. Well, not saying that that's not possible, and that sounds very inspiring, but it can also cause you to freeze in action, right? Because a part of this is we have to believe that whatever it is that we're declaring, or whatever it is that we're promising ourselves, that we believe it. We believe it's possible. And so sometimes when we take a goal or a dream or a vision and we look at the bigger picture, we don't always believe that that is something we can do in the moment. So why not shrink the promise down a little bit, and instead of looking at the big overall goal, change that out for micro commitments, right? So things that you can complete, let's say in 15 minutes or less. Here's an example. Instead of saying, I want to launch my new offer, commit to maybe writing the draft outline of just the first module or just the first phrase, and having that done before lunch on Monday, right? When you do that, what happens is you take these modest beginnings, and really momentum loves modest beginnings. It doesn't Momentum doesn't start by the one giant step. It starts by the small steps that you take that lead up to the overall accomplishment of the goal that you're trying to reach, right? So if you start small, and then every time you finish a task, what that will do is it will prove to you that you are a woman who keeps her word. So if you take it in bite sized pieces, instead of trying to eat the whole elephant, right? Take it one bite at a time, then you're proving to yourself that not only can you keep your word, but that you are a woman who can accomplish the goals that you have set out for yourself, right? So here's a quick exercise for that. Today, I want you to write a micro commitment. Just write it on a sticky note, okay? And place that sticky note, place it on your laptop or even on your computer. And then don't end the day until you have accomplished that task, right? Make sure you plan for it. We're going to talk a little bit more about that because planning is key. You can't just have a whole lot of things on your to-do list that you want to get done, but you're not planning to get them done. So make sure that you plan for this one micro commitment. Again, it can be as simple as writing an outline to your new program. Okay? The other thing is, I always say that you should have an accountability partner or buddy, right? I have one. Most successful women that I know have one. Um, it is something that keeps you accountable to the things that you are committing to doing, right? And it is also someone who will hold your feet to the fire when you're not keeping your word to yourself. But here's an accountability partner that you may have overlooked, and we all have it, right? And that's your calendar. Your calendar is neutral truth serum, right? I always say that if it's not in the calendar, it's not real. So use your calendar as your accountability partner, right? Um, if a task really only lives in your mind, then it's kind of like a wish. It's not a plan, right? When it lands on your calendar in a specific time slot, it becomes a plan. So schedule every promise, whether that is calls to potential clients, call to previous clients, right? Um, Calls to teammates or people that you want to collaborate with, whether it is creating content, it could be reviewing your financials every week, right? Some of those other CEO thinking tasks. Whatever that is, you want to treat those blocks like appointments with your paying clients. If you treat it that way, you're more likely to make sure that you keep that appointment, right? And then here's the other thing. If a conflict arises and you can't do it on the day that you have committed to doing it, then reschedule it immediately. Never delete it. Don't take it out of your calendar. Move it and reschedule it so that you still hold the commitment and the promise to yourself to get it done. Okay? This single habit is what will help you to rebuild self trust faster, really, than any affirmation. And you guys know how much I love affirmations, right? They're great to use, but being in action is what helps you to really build self trust and keep the promises that you're making to yourself. Okay, so here's a quick exercise for this. Open your planner and then block out the first work hour of, let's say, tomorrow, right? For you to do your highest impact task. That could be creating the outline for your new program, right? That could be creating the outline for you to have for your next speaking engagement. Whatever the next highest impact task that you have on your to-do list, put it in your planner now. Put it on your calendar now. Okay? So that you get out of planning mode, but it helps you to move into action mode. And then you want to always celebrate evidence, not just effort, right? We spend so much effort in the doing part, but let's celebrate the accomplishment part and the evidence that we have kept our word to ourselves. Let's celebrate that as well, right? Confidence grows from proof. So each week, what you can do is create a quick evidence list, right? This could be bullet points of actions that you completed that match your intentions or your commitments that you made at the beginning of the week, right? It could be things like, again, raised your fees, published an article, right? Followed up with a lead. Always start it with an action verb that you have completed, okay? Now, when you see proof on paper, what that helps you to do is rewire your brain to expect follow through, right? And what this does is it makes future actions easier. So, celebrating evidence also keeps perfectionism in check. That's a big one. You all know I've said it many times. I'm a recovering perfectionist, right? But when you celebrate the evidence that you are able to keep your word, that will help to keep that in check. And remember, progress counts even if the outcome isn't flawless yet. Done is always better than perfect. So every Friday, spend 5 minutes listing your completed promises and then read the list out loud to anchor it into your mind, into your body, into your soul, into your spirit, so that you again begin to rewire your brain to expect you to follow through and keep your promises to yourself. This is all about walking the talk, right? This is all about turning those promises into results, because the more you can get into action, the greater your results. Remember, designing your victory is a choice, and it starts with aligning today's smallest action to your boldest promises. Until next time, start walking the talk. See you next time.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Business by Design podcast. If you love what you're hearing each week, let me know by leaving a rating and a review. And don't forget to follow the show so you don't miss out on proven mindset techniques, strategies, and tools to help you design your victory and create the business and life you desire. Also, if you're ready to talk about the business and life that you really want, head on over to valeriepriester.com and schedule your private business breakthrough clarity call. Until next week, remember, designing your victory is a choice. Start today.